Greetings, welcome to a week. This will be the third video, and you can see I'm testing out a new pencil sharpener that I've just obtained, and it's quite a fancy piece of equipment. Quite a nice point. It's called Blackwing. I'm not recommending that you buy it because it's not worth it. But if you do a lot of pencil sharpening like I do, it's worth it. You can hear it's made out of metal. When I use these knives, I always end up breaking lots of pencil points. But anyway, that's part of the artist's trial and tribulation. So I'm going to kind of expand upon last week's talk, which was a simple introduction so I could see what kind of level that you were at. And today I'm going to divide it up into two talks because I don't want it to be too long and boring. So we're just going to experiment with the eyes, the nose and the mouth today, and I'm going to talk about the basics for that. Now, I've seen a lot of your drawings, and that's what I wanted to do, is get an icebreaker, get an idea of what level that you're at, and I can tell you this, there's some fantastic drawings came through. I was extremely impressed, and I told everybody. And there's some absolute beginners, you know, and that's fine. They will improve. Basically, just contact me every week, let me see what you're doing, and I'll give you some tips and recommendations, and you'll get better. So today, basic foundations of the face. Now, the eyes are important parts of a drawing. They are the windows into the soul, and they can reveal lots about us. You know, some drawings just look like androids with nothing inside the person, just an empty shell. Some drawings have got great feelings. You know, it's good to have all sorts of feelings. You know, you can have sadness, happiness, tranquility, agitation, peace and anger. They're all part of the human makeup. We have all of those things inside us, and that's what makes us human and not robots. So basically, you know, when I'm looking at the face, as I say, the eyes are important. So I usually start my portraits with the eyes, but that's entirely up to you. You might have a different preference. So I'm looking away at myself here, and when you're drawing an eye, it's important to remember, but don't copy this verbatim, you know, just have it in your mind when you're drawing, that the eye is an eyeball, okay? It's tricky doing this, so how big do we make it? I'll make it really big, okay? The eye is an eyeball, a sphere. And it's set in there. There's the pupil in the middle. Okay. And the skin of the eyelids are curling around it. You know, so it's got a kind of curvature to it. If you can see that. Okay, so there's a curve to the skin. And that gives the feeling that the eye is three-dimensional. You know, I see a lot of people do eyes like this. You know, just lines like that. You know, there's no feeling that there's an eyeball inside an eye socket. So you're wanting to get it like that. Now, of course, I say don't do this verbatim, copying it exactly like that, because it looks ridiculous. You just want to have that in your mind's eye and be able to draw the eye. So as I'm drawing the eye, and I'm going to give you the first bit here will be about how to get the two eyes together. Okay. So here we go. I prepared nothing beforehand. This is all done spontaneously. Okay, so one eye there done in a few seconds. Now, if you're one of those students or artists who finds it difficult to find the location for the next eye, in other words, you end up with eyes that are too close together, looking something like that, or you end up with eyes that are too far apart. Ending up with something like that. Here's a simple way of remembering how to get the eyes in the correct position. So I'll use this ruler. Let me see. Inches. This is a centimeters ruler. So here we are, inches. So I'm going to take the length of one eye. In this case, it's 1.5 inches long. So I've got that. It's 1.5 inches long. Now, if you take the measurement 1.5 inches. So if I take the space of that eye and then take the same length that the eye is, the other eye will start there. So it's almost like, if you can think of it like this, one eye, the distance of one eye, and at the end of that distance you start the other eye. I don't know if I explained that clearly, but it would kind of be like 3 eyes in width, but of course you don't do the middle eye. So it's the space of one eye between the eyes. And if you're not clear about what I'm saying, you know you've got my text and email and I'll just clarify it for you. I know if you're like me, I often don't pick up things when people are talking, especially on these YouTube videos, so feel free to contact me. At least I can't sing on text and email. Okay, so there's the space of one eye between the eyes. Does that make sense? One eye would be there, then you start the other eye at that space. So you don't have the eyes too close together and you don't end up with the eyes too far apart. Simple tip, and this is a very simple class for beginners. And even those of you who are more advanced, and I've seen your work and it's excellent, you're always learning, you're always perfecting what you're doing, so do that. So those are the 2 eyes. Eyebrows, eyelashes, anything that comes at the end of the head. I say, you know, the last things to grow are the hairs. You're not born with big bushy hair and all that. So put the hair on at the end after you do the face. That's important. Don't work on the hair at the beginning. Leave it till the end. So the nose, a lot of you did noses that were okay. Some of you did noses that kind of look like that, you know, like 2 sticks with little balls at the end for nostrils, supposed to be nostrils. And I saw some noses that were like this. It was just two nostrils like that. So there was no space of a nose in it. It didn't look like a nose. So here's a simple way for those of you who are not clear about how to do a nose. Simple way to get it. So you can think of the nose as 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Okay? So start in between the eye. Do the first line. Line 1. Curling out that way. Line 2. Curling out the other way. Okay? Line 3 is a little curly line here. Line 4 is a curly line here. Okay, so you with me? Is everyone clear on that? And then line 5 is a little bending, undulating, little twist of a line at the bottom here. Now it starts here, and there's a reason for that, I'll explain. Start it there and then just let it go under. It goes down, it doesn't go up, it goes down in most noses. and then up. So it can go, you know, it depends on every nose is different. You know, my nose is fairly big, you might have a fairly small nose. Every nose and every mouth and every pair of eyes is different. That's what makes us human beings. So, but that's the rough shape of a nose. And I leave that little curl in there. I'll put the nostril in there. Now, you know, as again, nostrils are different. You know, if you're looking at me straight on just now, you can see, you know, there's not a lot of nostril. You can see just these little marks, you know, where the nose is. But some people will have more nostril that you can see. That's up to you. So you look and see how much you can see, but that's it. Now, of course, that's just a basic thing of the nose. I'm not really drawing my face just now. I'm just doing a kind of stereotype for you all to learn from. So one line, and the line shouldn't be just straight down like that. It kind of, most noses start narrower in between the eyes and get a little bit wider as it goes out. So one line, two lines, a little curly line here, a little curly line here, and then this bottom line here undulating. Now then after that, after you've completed that, you know, the shading of course will give it more 3D quality, and we'll go into the shading later on when I come into paint, but some shading like that. Now I sketched little doodles in some of the front of your envelopes, and you'll see even in those I kind of used that shading. So that's it. So far we've done the eyes, which have the space of one eye between them, and then we're doing the nose, which is the 5 lines. 5 lines. Okay, 5 lines for the nose, one eye between the eyes. And now we move to the mouth. So underneath your nose will be the this area here, this heart-shaped thing. Shadow under the nose, and it leads to the, you see it on me, it leads to the kind of arch of the mouth here, this little bit. So I'm going to start putting a mouth in there. I'll just quickly sketch this. I'm not looking at myself. I'm just doing this as a teaching exercise. So it's kind of like a mouth of mouths. So here we go. Give him a. Usually the bottom lip is bigger than the top lip. Usually, but it depends. I've got a friend whose top lip is much bigger than his bottom lip. I mean, it's like I said, it's every human being is different. One thing though that I notice is that you'll if you look at my lips, I don't know if it makes any sense. Sometimes it looks like the top lip is darker than the bottom lip. So I usually make the top lip a bit darker than the bottom lip, to get the feeling that the lips are not just flat, because they're, you see these kind of cartoon lips. They just they just look like things out of a joke shop that are stuck on somebody's face. So you want the lips to look 3D on the face. So I always draw in the wrinkles, the little bits on the lips, so that they're not dead flat, and I try to make them the shape of the lips so it looks a little bit puffy and out. So there we are, that's those, and then at the side. And I'll put a shadow underneath the lip here so that the shadow makes it evident that the lip is kind of 3D. There you are. So that's about 15 minutes, so it's long enough for this one. I'm going to go on to the proportions of the head in the next class. You'll remember this one I did last week, and I've got some other stuff here. My two friends, Aristotle and Alexander, shall help me. And this week all I want you to do is attempt to draw the two eyes with the spacing in between. Attempt to do the nose, which the 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the mouth with that top bit shadowed and the bottom bit with those little wrinkle lines and the shadow underneath. Just experiment with the eyes, nose and mouth this week. You'll remember I said that the eyes are a sphere round and then the skin curls round it. And the space between the eyes is one eye. You know, there's one eye there between the eyes, and that gives you the correct positioning of the eyes. 5 lines for the nose, one out there, one out there, one little curly one there, one little curly one there, and one little undulating one underneath, and then you can pop the nostrils in at the side there. And then you've got this thing, I think it's actually called a furricule or something like that, I never remember the correct term, but it's there. So that is it. I will leave it this week, and once again, email or text me the 2 or 3 or whatever, you know, you can do it the way I've done it here, drawings of your experimentation with getting the eyes right, your experimentation with getting the nose, and your experimentation with getting the mouth. And then next week we will look at the positioning of the head and how to get things positioned, the size and ratio of the head. But I don't want to overload you, because that will go on until about half an hour, and 15 minutes is what we're told to do these tapes. So once again, marvellous to see you all. Thank you very much everyone for getting in touch with me. I am totally delighted and happy to have each and every one of you within this class. We'll have a spirited and wonderful time, and the good artists will become great artists. The beginner artists will become good artists. Everyone will improve. Just follow me every week, and please make sure that you contact me every week so I can put you down as attending and I can put you down as learning something, okay? But don't stress, don't turn it into a nightmare and worry about things. I'm not one of these judgy people. I just like you to be yourself and enjoy yourself and have a great time learning and living art. Over and out for now. Bye.